Hello, it's Ian Answer Gray on the Confident Live Marketing Show. Hope you're doing okay. We've got Andrew and Pete here.
Woo!
Hey!
Hello, everybody.
Oh, this is exciting. And we've managed to get you into a rectangular box because there's two of you.
I'm feeling privileged that you didn't make us squeeze together as we usually have to do on these live videos. So thank you, Ian. If someone could do it, Ian, it would be you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just felt bad because I think last time you came on, you had to squeeze. I mean, I know you like each other, but you had to squeeze together so much that it was a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, this reminds me of like our first office, which was literally just like me and Pete sharing a desk with like two chairs behind it. So we have been close for a long time now.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we're broadcasting to Facebook, LinkedIn Live, Periscope. I think that's it, actually. That's enough. We know we're at the forefront of technology on this show. So we're using multiple tools and everything. It's very, very exciting.
YouTube?
It was going to be YouTube, but for some reason, the technology wasn't quite working. So maybe next time. Meerkat. Do you remember Meerkat?
Yeah. What about Blab?
Blab.
I was on someone's website the other day, and it literally said, "Join us for our weekly Blab show."
Well, that's great, isn't it? If you're watching and you remember Blab, let us know. So, and Meerkat, that's where it all started, really, wasn't it?
How long did Blab last? That must have been like less than a year.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer than that. I don't know. But anyway, today, what are we talking about today? We're talking about unboring. Unboring? I was trying to work out, is it unboring? Can you use the word unboring? Unboring your live videos. So how to make them more interesting and exciting. And I couldn't think of anyone other than Andrew and Pete for this because you're all about making things more interesting and getting rid of the boring from all kind of content. Would you say that's fair enough?
Absolutely.
So no pressure now. This needs to be the most interesting live video in the world.
Yeah. Get an outfit on.
Okay, what do we want? I've got
You got a prison outfit.
I do have a prisoner's outfit. I could whack into this. I might just put it over like Pete's
That's
shoulders.
slightly concerning.
There we go. It's when we escaped.
When we escaped.
To the podcast listeners, you are missing a treat.
My goodness, what's going on? What's going on? If you're watching the replay or watching somewhere in the world live, then just let us know where in the world you're from. We always love to know that. And what do you think of Pete's nice orange jumpsuit there?
I mean, you do suit the colour orange. What does it say on the back?
I don't know.
It says, "Got busted penitentiary."
Got busted.
Oh my goodness.
I love how like rehearsed that was. That was like not even. That was just there in our bottom
It
drawer.
was just there.
Well, we're all professionals, aren't we?
Yeah.
Practice what we preach.
Exactly. So yeah, well we've got some live viewers, which is exciting. It seems to be working okay, which is always good. We've got somebody who says they're a fan of you. I can't read who they are, but
Is it Pete's mum?
yes, I think it is.
Probably Andrew's mum. She shares all of our Facebook statuses.
Yeah, she does.
Well, it's
We've
always
grown
good.
so much since then.
Yeah.
It's always good to have you.
A real influencer.
That's what we're looking for. We're looking to grow our audience of lots of people that are like our mum.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So
Sure.
like tip 1 is always have a prison outfit to hand. Tip 2 is get your mum to share your Facebook posts. The algorithm will love you for it.
Yep.
There we go.
There we go. That's it. Should we end the show there? That's basically it. So it's Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, I know he's invested a huge amount of talent and money into the algorithm, but basically it's the mum algorithm, isn't it?
It's the mum. Yeah. The mum effect.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And if there's two of you and you have two mums, even better.
Yeah. Or a dad.
Oh dear.
That's not so great for the sharing.
Okay.
No, I think we need to move on. We've got Michael Bathurst watching on LinkedIn, so I can't bring in the comments from LinkedIn, but he says, "How is your mind, body, and spirit today?" So how would you answer that? How are you feeling?
Oh,
That's quite a deep question.
Deep question,
I know.
Michael.
Yeah.
My mind is feeling good. My body is feeling also good. My spirit could do with some work, maybe.
How about you, Pete?
All good. Cloud 9. Yeah. Let's do this.
You sound like
He says with a fixed grin on his face, like, well, how do I answer that? Right.
The questions get harder.
Yeah, well,
I think we can cope with harder questions.
okay. Well, I think it's time to get on with the main show. So we'll be with you just after this. I'm going to start recording the podcast. We'll be with you just in a bit.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Hello, it's Ian Anderson Gray for episode 31 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. This is really exciting. We've got Andrew and Pete on the show to talk about how to unboring your live videos. I think a lot of us need some help with that, and I'm really looking forward to bringing them in. The show notes for this episode, when they're out, is at iag.me/31. But before I get Andrew and Pete on, it's time to announce my first sponsor of the show, which is Content 10X. I thank you so much, Amy and the team at Content 10X, for sponsoring this podcast. It's such a good fit because live video is one of those pieces of content that is so easy to repurpose into a plethora of different content. And that's really what Content 10X does. They are experts in end-to-end repurposing, and that's what the service that they offer is. So live video is great. Once you planned it, you press that start broadcast button and you share that content. You create that piece of content. Once you press the end broadcast button, Content 10X will then take it and they could make it into a podcast for you, into a blog post, into lots of social media images, infographics, that kind of thing, and really exploding it across the interwebs, helping you save time and helping you focus on building your business. And if you want to do it yourself, you can do. They've got such an amazing resource at their blog. They've also got a podcast and now a book. So if you go to content10x.com, you can find out all about that. And I thank you, Amy and the team, for sponsoring this podcast. Well, it's time to introduce my good friends, Andrew and Pete. They are international keynote speakers. I was just about to say, really, there's not much I can say. I mean, pretty much everyone in the world seems to know about Andrew and Pete at the moment, but they are international keynote speakers, authors, and YouTubers, and are multi-award winning fun business duo who help small business owners scale their business so they can stop swapping time for money. Andrew and Pete, it's great to have you on.
Woo! Thanks so much for having us, Ian.
Thank you so much. That intro was epic. It was so cool. And also a big shout out to Content 10X as well and Amy Woods, who runs it. They are awesome.
Yes.
So definitely check them out.
I thought you were talking about our intro. I thought that's a really strange thing to say about our intro. It's a really epic intro to us.
Yeah. Well, you wrote it, so it's got to be epic. So, but it is true. It's been exciting to see. I mean, I've known you for quite a few years. I'm going to ask you a little bit more about that in a minute. But it's amazing to see how you've grown and the fact that you are indeed international keynote speakers. I've seen you speak around the world in the UK and in the US, and yeah, it's just been just amazing to see you guys grow. So, and yeah, it's long overdue that you come on this podcast. I can't believe that actually I'm on episode 31 and you haven't been on yet. So
what is going on about that?
Well, come on.
The real reason though is that you're just far too busy and you can't fit me into your schedule. But anyway, so thank you for coming on. If you're watching the replay, watching live, or listening to the podcast, please get involved. If you've got any questions for Andrew and Pete, anything at all, maybe to do with live video and making your live videos unboring, that would be cool. But just let us know. We're going on live on LinkedIn and Facebook and other places too. So I've got a quick quiz for you. Now, this is a new thing. I haven't actually done this before, but I thought we'd just kind of quiz you both. So it's a quick fire quiz. Quick fire? Can you have a quick fire quiz? You can. I've just made it up, and I'm going to ask you just a few questions. We're going to start with Andrew, obviously, Andrew and Pete, and then Pete, you then need to answer it too. So it could be like,
is there a winner, Ian?
No, there isn't. It's just the joy of knowing know the
Slightly
answers.
disappointed with that.
Andrew's really competitive, so.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I've got you on, because you're going to give me loads of tips on what I can do in the future. So,
Can we just pretend that because we're the first ones to do this, we're current champions of this game?
yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So,
Before we've even done the quiz.
Yeah.
so okay, I'm going to go on to show you guys. So, the first question is your fave type of food, Andrew.
Oh, Mexican food, fajitas are my ultimate favorite.
Pete.
Oh, Thai food.
Oh, you can't do that. It's kind of like have you ever seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Search for the Holy Grail?
Yeah.
And they say, "What's your favorite color?" And he says, "Blue." Oh, I mean green. And he goes, "Ah!" And he falls off the into the river of death.
The first thing that comes to our heads is that the
Yes,
idea?
yes.
Okay.
It would help if I actually explained the rules. But anyway, there we go. So
Okay.
next question, Andrew: Mac or PC?
Mac.
Mac.
Easy.
You make
You
it sound
didn't say my
like
name that time. I just went for it.
oh dear. Okay, right. Favorite kind of music?
Oh, like cheesy pop.
Dance music.
Ooh, cool, excellent. Right, banana or Krispy Kreme donut?
Oh, Krispy Kreme donut. Easy.
Banana.
Really? Okay, that's cool. Excellent.
Although there's this really cool bar in Budapest, and it's got like these amazing donuts in the shape of like unicorns and minions and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Do you know why I was
awesome.
confused by that? I thought you were asking me like banana flavored donut or Krispy Kreme donut. That's why I like.
Oh, okay.
There was a slight pause,
Ah.
but
Okay.
like 100%. Bananas are the worst type of fruit.
Yeah, maybe I should have
They're
chosen.
the worst fruit.
I think they're the most convenient fruit.
They are indeed. But you see, I gave up sugar a couple of years ago, so it's banana for me. But I went to, and I'm also vegetarian, so this wouldn't be good for me. But I was when I was in Nashville a couple of months ago, I noticed they had donuts with bacon on it.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Oh, have you ever been
Nice.
to TGI Fridays? They do the bacon milkshake.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
just
if it's still on the menu.
that's
It's got
just
bacon in the milkshake.
that's just wrong. Okay, next question. Favorite kids TV program?
Oh, Scooby Doo, all-time favorite.
And Pete?
Oh, this is hard. The Simpsons.
Okay. You didn't really sell that to me, but okay, fine. Okay, next one. I'm really interested. I'm really interested in this one. Your favorite classical composer?
Taylor Swift.
That's gone so badly. Okay.
I'd say.
I'd say it's a tough sort between Beethoven and Mozart.
Okay. Right. That's good. That's good. That's good. Right. Okay. Now this could go horribly wrong, but okay. What do you know? So Andrew, what's Pete's middle name? Do you know Pete's middle name, if he has one?
Yes. Do you want me to say it?
Yes.
Didn't know if it was meant to be keeping it secret.
Is it top secret?
No, it's not. It's his Peter Michael Francis Garland the Fourth of his name.
Junior, or the third.
Lord Peter
Oh
Martin.
yeah, Lord Peter Michael Francis Garland the Fourth of his name.
Okay. Right, and Pete.
Andrew doesn't actually have a middle name.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know.
Yeah, I might get one.
Yeah, I think you should.
His
I
mum
think-
wants him to change his name.
Yeah, it's a really weird question that you've just asked me, Ian, because I went for dinner with my mum the other day, and I'm not even making this up. She goes to me, Andrew, I'm your mother, and I've been thinking about something. I made a big mistake when you were younger. I was like, oh, and she said, I really think that you should have a middle name. And
so
this
funny.
is what I think it should be. And I can't say it yet because I might have to add a middle name because my mum changed her mind 29 years after I was born.
But can she do that as a grown adult? You know, I suppose.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, she can't, but I also,
Okay.
I'm a bit of a mummy's boy, so I feel like I need to agree.
Mhm.
Don't know.
Well, you heard it first on this show. Maybe you can come back and you can let us know. So the final question is your favorite app.
app. That's hard. I am loving Slack at the moment, you know. We have just got into Slack for managing the team. That's a really boring answer, isn't it?
No, that's
And
cool.
Slack has somehow become like one of my favorite apps all of a sudden.
Oh my god, can I give two? Number one, Monzo, because it's like the best banking app ever.
Yes.
And
that's
I'm
a good
like
one.
obsessed by it. And the other one is TikTok, because I downloaded TikTok and then I'm looking at my phone right now, and I basically lost 3 days of my life.
Oh no.
And then I closed it. And it is really addictive.
Oh dear. Do you realize how old that makes me feel? I just opened TikTok and I feel instantly 90.
You should have this show on TikTok, Ian. I can see it now.
Yeah, I think not.
10 seconds of it.
So anyway, let's get on. That was supposed to be a short quiz, but anyway, there we go.
If we win, more importantly, we win.
You won, absolutely, both of you. So I always like to ask people who come on my show if we have actually met in real life. When was or how did we first meet? Do you have a memory about that?
I know exactly when we first met. Do you know when we first met?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the story?
Okay. Right, because you've really forgotten.
No, I remember it like it was yesterday.
So, Ian, you were speaking at New Media Europe, and we had just launched our membership, Atomic, and we wanted to get some awesome content on Atomic, and we saw that you were speaking at this event. We were going to the event, and we reached out to you, and you were this hero in our eyes, and we were like, Ian, we would love to meet you, and we made you a whole landing page and sent you a special email to get you to that landing page, which asks you if you would like a coffee with us for 10 minutes. And we even stalked you on Twitter for like 3 weeks leading up to that question of asking you to a little coffee meet.
Do you remember that, Ian?
I remember it very, very clearly because I was thinking, what on earth is this about? What's happening here? Who are these nutters? No, I wasn't thinking that at all. Just you went all out and you created I've never seen somebody create a landing page specifically for a person. And so and then it was just great to then meet in person. And it just made it a lot easier because you'd reached out beforehand. And so I thought that was a really, really cool thing to do. And we've known each other ever since.
We've been friends and spoke on the same stages, and you spoke at our event, and
traveled the world together.
I know, yeah. So we were both speaking at, all of us were speaking at Content Marketing World, weren't we, in September? And then earlier this year, there was Social Media Marketing World, and of course, your big event, Atomicon. And do you want to tell people watching or listening about your event next year, Atomicon 2020?
Yes. Very quickly,
The Atomicon 2020 is happening in Newcastle next year, the 28th of April. It's an epic event for small business owners. So check it out, atomicon.co.uk.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's in Newcastle. It's in Newcastle, which is a beautiful city, and the hotels are not expensive. It's a great place.
Expensive.
Yeah, so there's lots of good things.
Let's call it as it is.
Yeah. I was trying to be polite. There we go. So live video. Why live video?
So live video offers this unique experience to basically interact and engage with people. You all know this listening. It's so special to just be able to talk to people one-on-one, and it almost gets across that excitement of something is happening right now. And I think that's a really great way to use live video and generate a little bit more buzz and excitement than just here's a pre-recorded video.
Yeah. We mainly use live video ourselves, behind our membership. So we're going live into our membership group pretty much every single week. We're doing hangouts there. And I think it's a really great way for people just to get to know their community, whether that's a paid for community or whether that's a free community. It's great just to have actual in-person conversations with people like you can on live video, which you can't really do on any other platforms, I don't think, the same.
No. I think you made a good point there, because I think everyone thinks live video, Facebook page, or live video, maybe YouTube or now LinkedIn. But paid communities or Facebook groups, you can do live trainings in those groups. You can share your screen. You can do a presentation. Then you can interact with people. People can ask questions there and then. This is a really easy way to provide value and get to know your members and interact and answer all the questions.
Yeah, we tend to use live video a lot as well for doing trainings, where back in the day, we would have used like some kind of webinar software to do live trainings on. Now we're just using live video, whether that's Facebook Live or whether that's like jumping into a Zoom room and just using these tools available to us now to actually deliver value to the audience as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, live video is not just restricted to the likes of Facebook Live or Periscope or whatever. Yeah, Periscope does still exist. We're broadcasting Periscope as well. Yeah, I mean, in effect, why not include webinars, and actually, why not, instead of doing a traditional webinar, why don't use that for live using Facebook Live or LinkedIn Live or something like that? I've just realized I failed miserably, and it's, of course, in the US it is Thanksgiving today, and I forgot to wish all our friends in the States happy Thanksgiving. And we've got Mike Alton actually in the room. He's watching on Periscope, and he's saying happy Thanksgiving. Subtle hint there, so sorry Mike, but yeah, I hope you're all having a great time. Unfortunately for us in the UK, it's just a regular day, isn't it?
It's just Thursday here.
It's Thursday.
It's just Thursday.
And tomorrow is just Friday, although I hear
It's not just Friday tomorrow, though. It's Black Friday.
But it's only Black Friday because of Thursday, which is Thanksgiving. But anyway, that's the whole thing. Mike Alton says, favorite app, Agora Pulse, duh. I wonder why that is. Mike Alton is works for Agora Pulse, but yeah, maybe
Agora Pulse is awesome. And we love it to bits too.
That's
shout out to Agora Pulse.
It transcends apps. So that's why it didn't come to me immediately. I don't see it as an app. I see it more of like a way of life.
Oh, I like that. That's very good. Very good.
I've been wearing the Agora Pulse hoodie for like every day for the last 3 weeks.
It stinks.
Right, moving on. So, do you get nervous on camera? Can you share any disasters, and have you got any tips? Because it's interesting. I've asked a lot of people on the show about whether they feel nervous. Most people do. We've had a few people that don't get nervous at all, and we've had a few disaster stories. So I was just wondering if you could share some of those with us.
Well, I think we've got 2 funny disaster stories. First and foremost, however, obviously getting on video is scary to start with, but it gets easier and easier and easier. We don't feel I don't feel that nervous right now on live video. Something that really helped us was practicing on Snapchat, taking little videos, making stories. Obviously, you can do the same on Instagram these days, and that really helps to get comfortable with camera. I think 2 disaster stories. The first one that springs to mind.
I can only think of one.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
First one's we did this. We went all out for this webinar. It's going to be a live webinar, and it's going to be amazing. And we even had Jay Bear subscribe for this live webinar, and we were like, "Oh my god, the pressure!" Jay Bear is this hero in marketing, and why the hell is he subscribed to our webinar? What's going on? No pressure. So anyway, I'm in charge of sending the final email with the link to go watch. And you know what I do? I get the wrong link from YouTube. So we go live. No one's there, obviously. We realize we sent this email to go to the wrong place. So we had to then redo the whole thing, send another apology email, restart it, and it was all... Andrew was very mad.
Oh, yeah, really mad. That almost broke.
So where did you send them to? Was it some random cat video on YouTube or something?
Well, on YouTube, you've got you've got 2 options, and one of them is a standard YouTube Live page, and it's just forever there.
I don't know if that's still there, that page anymore.
I think it's gone now. And then underneath it,
I know what you mean.
Events, and then on the events thing, you would have the event of the. Yeah.
But remember, you would put the thumbnail and everything on the wrong one as well.
I did, yeah.
So it looked like it was the right one, and we just weren't starting. So it was a big kerfuffle.
Yeah,
I was thinking. Go on, sorry.
Well, I was going to say this is why we test things, and this is we're bound to mess up, but you learned from that experience, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing.
I've just thought of another 2 actually.
I've got 2. Yeah.
Well, I can. Let's see if you can do yours. The very first webinar that we ever did. This was another Pete screw up story. We're about to go live, and Pete thinks that, oh no, the camera's not quite right. He pulls our iMac closer towards us, and the power cable just pops out the back. the whole thing shuts down, obviously. So then it takes like another 5-10 minutes to like load back up, and we're just ridiculously late to go live. We were literally ready to press go live. Let's do this. Jigged ourselves up, and then Pete just unplugs the computer.
Another one, basically, very quickly, we're about to go live, and Andrew knocked over our lights, and it shattered all over the floor, and we had to do the whole 1 hour webinar with glass by our feet.
In the dark.
In the dark.
Well, could nobody? Oh, I suppose you didn't have to. Was it just slides? People didn't need to see you.
It wasn't quite the light. It wasn't quite dark, but it wasn't well lit. Let's say.
This is how we do webinars in the dark. Oh my goodness! Right. Well, it's good to share the disasters. We've all had disasters, but we still keep going, and it's how you learn from these things. So. Why can some live video be so boring? Let's face it, we have seen some live video out there that is excruciatingly boring. How can we unboring it? But first, why is some live video boring? And then how can we make it unboring?
Good question. I think one of the major reasons it's boring is because we're told to do live video. So we do live video for the sake of doing live video. Mm-hmm. And because there's such a low barrier to entry to video, to the live video, that makes it so easy to do and just convenient, which also makes it really average and boring. So if you want to do an actual video, you have to, maybe write a script, you have to record it, you have to edit it, then upload it, maybe add sound or get licenses, write all your description and stuff. And it's a real process. Like, it takes a good few hours. Maybe you even get captions bent onto it first. All this stuff takes a lot of time. And if it's going to take time, you want it to be worth it, so it has to be good. So when people do video pre-recorded, it's usually much better than a live video because, well, they've had to think about it a bit more because it's going to take them longer. Whereas a live video, there's no barriers. You can just go for it. I could just pick up my phone now, and in 30 seconds, I could be live. And that means it can also be very boring and not well thought out. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I agree completely. I think we should get away from doing live video just for the sake of it. And especially because a lot of the advice is go live for as long as possible. So so you do better in the algorithm. Like, Facebook will keep on showing your live video the longer you are. But if you are going live and then just waffling on or just waiting for people to actually come on, then that's rubbish. And think about the replay viewers. I think that's what you do really well, Ian, is that you start the live broadcasts with the replay viewers in mind, where most people, they'll start the live broadcast and wait for the live viewers to come along, where in most cases, most of our views are coming from the replay viewers anyway.
That's so true. Yeah, don't just think about the live element, although obviously live is great and it's great to get those comments in and to have a discussion with people. And it doesn't have to be that long. I think actually doing a number of different formats of live video shows are really good. So this is a longer one. We tend to go on for about 50 minutes sometimes, but not all of the live video shows that I do are that long, so experiment. I wonder whether also the people that are really nervous and tend to overthink things before they press that go live button, I think maybe they're the kind of people that would make really interesting shows. I mean, I'm overgeneralizing here, but the people who don't really have that barrier, they just press the go live button, they don't really think about it, and some of the time they're really boring. Do you think there's some truth in that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've, like I said, I think we've been told that going live is going to help us get more reach because the algorithm favors it. I think that's less and less of a priority. And I think it's more to do with how good that live video actually is. Yeah. Someone who does this really well is Mari Smith. She's going to be speaking at Atomicon. And her live videos are really good. They're very high end. And basically, when she finds out some insider knowledge about Facebook, she'll just go and share it with a live video and talk it through, and people will be asking questions, and it's a little bit of a debate, but it has a purpose of being live. Yeah. And if a video doesn't have a purpose, a reason why it needs to be live compared to not live, then it shouldn't be a live show.
Yeah.
So for Mari, it's time sensitive. She wants to get this information out right now, and she wants to know the reaction of people straight away, and talk it and answer any of their concerns or opportunities. And that's a really great way to do a live video.
Yeah.
Similar to you, like you're doing an interview show, which allows people to take questions. That means a live video is going to be good for that.
Yeah. I totally agree, and I think the other thing I would just add to that, and this is one of the reasons, this is one, not my main reason, but it is certainly a reason why I started with live video, is that it actually forces me to create content. Because I'm an overthinker, if doing pre-recorded video, I probably would procrastinate, but with live video I have to plan. Obviously I plan, I press that go live button, and then I've got a piece of content. So I think for some people the fact of doing live video, going live, is actually a way of quickly creating content as well. But again, you need to focus on making it good. Don't just do it for content's sake. And so yeah, the follow-on question really is, have you got any tips on how we can make our content less boring, or let's make it more positive? How can we make it exciting and interesting and engaging, and really make some cool content for our audience that will engage with our audience?
I think about what is in it for the end. I was going to say end user, viewer. That would be a better word to use. The viewer. Think about what is in it for the viewer, and I think people often do forget that with live video because it is so easy. Where I would really think about, right, what is this main pain point that I want to solve with this live video, and do all of that prep work first. So it's not just a live video that's just rumbling on about God knows what. Like, I would plan as much in your live videos as I would do if you were going to create a video for YouTube. I would also remember what we call the energy drain theory. So when we do video, the camera just sucks our energy out of us completely. And if we go in as like a 7 out of 10 for energy, then it's going to come out more like a 3 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10, and you're going to feel really monotone and boring watching it back. When we're recording YouTube videos, like, we're giving it like literally like 15 out of 10, 20 out of 10, and when we watch it back, we feel a lot more boring than what we felt like when we were actually recording it. Like, when we were recording it, we felt like we were bouncing off the walls. Watching it back, we feel like, oh yeah, we look animated. And I think because live video can be a bit longer, you can definitely lose that energy over time.
Yeah.
And constantly just making sure that you are like doing everything that you tell people to do, Ian, like sitting up straight, feeling the energy. There's two of us, so often if one of them senses the other person like losing it with the energy, they'll be doing like this under the camera, like
this.
Yeah.
Yep, your energy.
We're getting the secret tips now. That's really cool. And yeah, I really loved what you said there, Andrew. And that's reminded me of something actually from my singing days, because I remember singing this, like, it was like probably a classical piece of music, like some opera or something, and it was in a masterclass. I was there singing to an audience, and somebody was working with me and saying, okay, I want you to put more feeling into it. So I put what I thought was 100% more feeling into it, and he said, yeah, but that wasn't really that much more. So he wanted me to put like 200-300%. What I thought was loads was not. It was like 10% more. And I think it's the same on video. Yeah, you're right. It drains your energy, the camera. And it also, if you think about it, where are you at the moment, guys? I mean, you're in your office, aren't you?
Yeah.
In our office.
And you're talking to this inanimate object called a camera, and it feels a little bit weird. You're kind of like talking to this. I know you're talking to me, but it kind of doesn't. If somebody came in the room now, they think like, what are you doing, guys? You're like talking to nobody in particular. So it takes time to get that energy leveled up, and also to keep it there all the way through. So yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. So okay, so authenticity, we hear that word a lot, and vulnerability, we've heard that word a lot. How can small businesses, because I know you work mainly with small businesses, how can small businesses be more themselves on live video, and why is that important?
Oh, that's a really good question. And I do think it is really important to be more of yourself and be more unique, and people are going to resonate with that, and they're either going to like you or not like you and buy from you because of that. I think there's a fine line on this, and I think sometimes people cross that line where they overshare for the purpose of being authentic, and I'm doing little air quotes here because like they'll do it just for the sake of it or for a reaction, and I don't think that's quite right. I don't think you have to share everything.
So can you give an example? I'm just kind of like, maybe you, I think Mark Schaefer was sharing this with me about authenticity, and he was saying like, maybe sometimes I have a bit of like gas. I'm probably not going to share that on the live show. That's not really adding value. So yeah, have you got kind of any thoughts on that?
I think that's one. I think, if you're trying to grow like a business profile presence, there's some topics that are maybe a little bit like off limits, like religion and stuff like that, and politics, or I don't know, like private emotional things maybe.
I think a lot of people share when they're having bad times or where things aren't quite going to plan. And like, we're not saying like the whole fake it till you make it thing is like the other extreme of that, which again I don't necessarily agree with. But also it's like, if we're doing this for business, and if you're doing this for business, then there is a certain level of positioning and a certain level of branding that you kind of have to keep in mind whenever you're putting any kind of content out there on the internet. You have to think about, what does it actually say about you?
Because I remember reading, I think it was like a virtual assistant's profile, and I was looking through some of the posts, and literally like every other one was like moaning and complaining about how hectic and chaotic their life was. And it just got me thinking like, well, I would never use you.
Yeah.
Like, you're a VA, like your whole, like, it's all about being organized and keeping people to account and stuff and helping them. So that doesn't sound right to me. So that completely put me off. But what I would say is, on the flip side, if she shared that once, that's fine. Like, she's okay to have an off day. That's okay.
Yeah.
Or even if she shared a story which then had an actual message that we could learn from or take away, then that would be like really good and benefit people listening.
I think that's the key. I think people hear like authenticity, and I think it has become a bit of a buzzword. And really, it can just be a little bit, we call it selfish content. So, content where it's just like all about you. Where if we're trying to use content to grow our audience of potential customers, then we need to like stop thinking about us, and sure, like use stories from your own life to help like emphasize points. But whenever we're creating any kind of content, we're never thinking like, first and foremostly, how do we make sure this content is authentic? We think, okay, how can this content help somebody today? So that's what we do. We create like helpful content. So that's kind of our first point of call. Like, what do we actually want someone to take away from this? And then once we've got that, and once we know what the big takeaways of the content are going to be, then we start thinking about, okay, is there any like stories that we can share? Can we like let people get to know us a little bit with this? But we're not like shoehorning it in for the sake of it. If there is a great personal story that we can tell that adds to the message that we wanted to make anyway, we'll add it in, but we won't just put something in for the sake of it.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And somebody said to me, maybe kind of last year or relatively recently, I can't remember, which is, if you are going through a difficult time, it may be good to share some of those stories with your audience if you feel it's going to be helpful to them to learn from your experience, but probably not at that moment. You need to let some time pass so that you are probably in a better state to be able to share it. And yeah, absolutely, do not share it for selfish reasons. Sometimes you might want to get things off your chest. Well, don't share that on your content. A mastermind group, some friends or something like that. They're the people you should be sharing those difficult times with, not just dump it on your audience. They're not gonna benefit from that. Anyway, it's time for our second sponsor, which is, drum roll, StreamYard. I actually needed some drum roll effects for that, I think. So StreamYard, I'm really excited that they are a sponsor of this show because I'm actually using StreamYard to go live to LinkedIn, and that it's my top recommendation as a live video tool as a web app, because the great thing about StreamYard is you can run this directly through your web browser. So it's so quick and easy to use and works on both Macs and PC users too. It's so easy to use and so many amazing features, such as, for example, you can highlight comments on the screen and add your own titles. You can have up to 5 guests, so that's 6 including yourself. You're able to share your screen, and you can add your own brand colors, and you can stream to Facebook, Periscope, LinkedIn Live, YouTube, and a lot more. Now, did you know all of those features are on the free version? They must be completely mad. But if you want even more than that, there is a paid version which gives you even more features, including being able to add your own logo, overlays, backgrounds, and videos. And probably one of my favorite bits, although not for beginners, if you're just starting out on live video, I wouldn't recommend this, but it's really cool. And that's the ability to multicast. That's broadcast to more than one platform at the same time. You can broadcast to up to 5 destinations. So check out StreamYard. If you go to iag.me/StreamYard, you can use this completely free. There is a free trial, and also there are some paid versions as well. But just go to iag.me/StreamYard. And thank you so much, StreamYard, for sponsoring the show. So it's exciting.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So check out StreamYard.
We should.
We should, definitely. And so attracting the right audience. I think this is something that's really close to my heart, because I think, being, on the subject of authenticity, in the past, I have been focusing on the numbers, and I got to a point where I got loads of people on my mailing list, and I got loads of people on my website, which is great. The numbers were great, but they weren't all the right audience. And now my focus is much more, it's not so much the big numbers, it's getting the right kind of audience, the people that are actually going to buy from me. So how can we attract the right audience using live video? Do you think that's a good medium to use, and how can we do that?
Yeah, so I guess when you're attracting an audience, it all comes down to like the content you are creating. And this is why having a plan of what the content is actually going to be about is really, really important. Like, how do we create content that our ideal audience wants to watch? So first, like, you have to know who the ideal audience is, then start thinking about all the different pain points they might have, and then just create content on all of those different topics, right? And then when it comes to like actually attracting the people to you, there's multiple different ways that you can do it. I think one of the great benefits of live video is that often it is sat on a social media platform, and we have the opportunity not just of the algorithm to share it with more people, but actually the people that are watching it to share it with more people as well. So I don't know how you do this, Ian, but I would always be thinking about how are we actually encouraging people to either comment on the video or actually share that video with somebody to get more eyeballs to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's loads of stuff you can do to attract the right audience. I think it really does start with like literally talking to your audience. And I feel like this has been said a lot, but no one really does it. Like, actually call up your customers, like your perfect customers, and just have a conversation with them. Like, what on earth are they trying to achieve, and what are they really struggling with? That's helped us so much, like ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
And you, just to interrupt there, you do mean, I mean, this is like something quite scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It sounds like from what you're saying, you mean like phone them up, speak to them on the phone or face to face, which is like, what is this? What magic are you talking about here?
Yeah, I feel like it is like Pete said. It's one of those tips that a lot of people give, but not a lot of people take it. Well, we've took it for the past maybe 5-6 months. Maybe we've been trying to have as many conversations with real people on our email list as possible, and it's just been completely eye-opening having those conversations, just how they describe things, what their actual problems are, what their the similarities between people are, and it's been incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been amazing. And I've actually reached out to like hundreds of people. Like I've maybe spoken to like just under 100 people on the phone. and it's mind-blowing, and it's helped us to get inside like their heads. It's helped us to provide better training. It's helped us to sell better, create better content, more helpful content, and get a lot more focus on what's actually going to benefit them or what to talk about in our own content. So that's really exciting. And I think like a really big one that I think as well to bear in mind about attracting the right people is this whole difference between attracting the right people and attracting your peers. And I think what a lot of people do, especially in the marketing industry, like we've been there, we've done this. You're nodding as if maybe you've done this as well, Ian.
Oh, yes.
Creating content to impress our peers and go, look what we know. Like, aren't we smart? Whereas actually, it's totally unrelatable to the people that we actually want to buy our product.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can really alienate people, and it creates this weird audience. And this is almost why you get people completely pivoting in their business and going, well, I used to create like content because I wanted to sell this product, but now I'm selling products to the people that are basically my competitors, my peers, because I've built up such an audience because I was just trying to attract those, I was trying to impress those people rather than actually help the people that need it and on their level, basically.
Yeah, I think that's so important, and it's one of those things that a lot of people feel but probably haven't really articulated. It's something that I've spoken to a lot of people about, is that we end up just forming these communities with our peers. Everything becomes a bit of an echo chamber. We're all kind of like, patting each other on the back, and like we're not like selling anything, it can work. There are like my first
engagement.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my first course that I sold, a live video course, actually a lot of my peers did buy it. This was on OBS Studio, but I think that is the exception to the rule. On the whole, I think it's good to have a community with our peers where we can encourage each other, but don't focus on that from a business point of view. They're not on the whole going to be buying from you, so focus on that. I think that's really, really good advice. So that brings us on to probably my favorite topic, which is the whole idea, and it's something that really I know that we got up to episode 31 and we've not really talked about this in any more in a great detail, and that's the whole subject of actually making money. I mean, I talk about my my kind of tagline is how to using live video to level up your impact, authority, and profits. And we can talk about live video loads of times. We can talk about we can talk about the technology, we can talk about the confidence, we can talk about the content. Well, that's all great, but how are live videos actually going to make us money?
I love that you've asked this. I absolutely love that you've asked this, because I do think it's a massive thing that people miss, not just with live video, but with any kind of content they're creating. And the way we look at it is that we have content like this podcast, like a blog, like a YouTube channel, that is all about building our audience, right? It's all about giving value, and we give as much value as we can to build that audience. But there has to come at some point in that content, a point where the people that are consuming that content like learn about what you do, right? And what we say is we need to create more what we call hand raiser content. So if we've got an audience of people, we need to know who in that audience is interested in buying. So like if you've got a live video course, for example, Ian, like how often do you talk about that in this live show? Like, is your live video course even like a sponsor of this show, or could it be? And how do you get everyone that's listening to this podcast or watching this video letting you know that they might be interested in purchasing this course? Could you do something like, okay, go to iag.me/free and get the first episode of this course for free, or something like that. Something that gets people to actually say, you know what, I'm interested in learning a little bit more. And there's tons and tons of different ways that you can do that.
That's really cool. And that is something that absolutely I'm going to be doing next year. So as I'm creating some courses and more resources for next year. And I mean, I make no apology. I'm going to be talking about that in the show, and potentially there'll be sponsors, because, at the end of the day, it's not like I'm creating content and then wanting to just like just shove it onto all my audience for no reason. I'm creating this content because I know it's going to help my audience, and so actually talking about that on this show makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you need to get to a stage with content where people should know what you sell without having to read any of your sales content, if that makes sense. So for example, in our YouTube videos, we'll talk about, hey, this is a cool sales tip. Now actually this sales tip is taken from one of our sales trainings that we have inside Atomic, which is like a 6-part series to help you like earn more money like really quickly.
And Atomic, just to let you know, if anyone doesn't know, Atomic is your membership community. This is your bread and butter. This is your big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the ultimate program to help you earn more and work less.
Oh, love that. There we go.
So we'll subtly just mention Atomic throughout, and because of this, whenever we do then talk about Atomic or like get them to click on a hand raiser or something like that, all of a sudden, like they actually know what it is. And I think we said this the other day, like we've been following people for years, and we have no idea what they sell.
Yeah.
Like we like them, we've been following the content, but we just have no idea what they sell because they never ever sell.
Yeah.
Or even talk about their products remotely in their free content or the Facebook statuses or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting.
It's really, and I think a lot of people's audiences would be interested in finding out more about what they actually do, and yet they don't do it, maybe because they feel like they don't want to be salesy or they feel a bit awkward about selling. Mm-hmm. But if you're creating a live video for your business to actually get more customers, then that's something that you need to like tackle head on and kind of get over for yourself. So you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it, and it just becomes a pointless time wasting activity.
Yeah, that's so important. And it's not like you're not talking about being really sell and saying, buy my course, You know, it's not. So that's the other extreme. But then what a lot of people do, and I've seen this a lot, and I've been guilty of it too. And you know, I still can veer towards the way of not talking about my services enough. It's something that I'm working on. But I think that, we can go from one extreme of sell to not talking about it at all.
Yeah, exactly. Ian, tell me about this course.
This course is it's all about confident live video and how to become more confident, how, in fact, to level up your impact, authority, and profits, and taking away those barriers, those 3 main barriers that we all suffer from in our businesses.
How's the content delivered, by the way?
It's going to be on using video, so it'll be a video community.
Fantastic. And so like ongoing support as well.
Ongoing support, absolutely. Well, we all need that, don't we? It's not just because I think you need a bit of handhold.
We reach out to you for tech support is unbelievable.
We should be paying you for that.
We should.
Yeah, well, there we go.
That's why you need to join the course.
Yeah.
And actually, there's an exciting thing I'm doing with Jeff C. Very soon, and that we're doing a master class. It's a 6-week master class, which is very similar to what I've talked about. So we're just putting the finishing touches on that. So again, we'll be talking about that. So that's cool. Well, thank you guys. We've run out of time, I'm afraid. We'll have to have you back on the show. I don't know why I say we as if it's the royal we. It's got to that point, but thank you guys. It's been so cool to have you on, and definitely check out Atomicon. It's in Newcastle next year. What are the dates again?
It is the 28th of April next year, and we have a fringe day the day before where we've got some more workshops and masterclasses running the day before. But the main day is the 28th of April, 2020. 2020. So obviously, if you're listening in the future, if it already is 2020, you can. And if you just go to, I think it's atomicon.co.uk is where you go for that. But how can people stalk you in a nice way, and how can people find out a little bit more about you guys?
Absolutely. So if you go to andrewandpete.com, you can find everything about us. We have a rockin' YouTube channel, which we'd love you to check out. So andrewandpete.tv. Check that out. If you do want to know any more about Atomic as well, we'd love you to check it out. It's the program for small business owners to earn more money, work less, stop the hustle, and really grow the business as fast as you possibly could imagine. So if any of that sounds good, it's andrewandpete.com atomic. We'd love to be back on the show. We'd love to talk about more on the sales side of things.
Yeah.
If you want to do more in depth on that. If anyone wants that, like reach out, drop us a tweet or something like that.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let you know.
Yeah, definitely do that, because these guys have been so helpful to me, and particularly with the whole sales side of things, because it doesn't come easily to everybody. And Andrew and Pete have been really supportive to me, so definitely reach out to them.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having us on the show, Ian, and thanks everyone for listening and watching as well. Woo!
It's been great. Fab. Well, until next time, I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits using Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.